Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the Painted South. Before we get into the rest of the video, I did want to mention that I did get my braces put on. These are Spark braces, they're like Invisalign, and so I have these trays, and there are little brackets that go on your teeth here. And it does give me a little bit of a lisp, or at least I hear it. My husband said he doesn't hear it, but I hear it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these trays out, but you may still see these brackets glued to my teeth. They are the color of my teeth. We're close to it. But if you happen to see that I have nubby teeth, that's what's going on. So I'm going to pop these out. I have this little tool, and I'm getting used to it. I've had them on for several months now, but I still have a long way to go to fix my teeth and some issues that I was having. So just so you know, if you see that my teeth have texture, that's what it is. So if you happen to have watched my last video, we discussed how we were going to rearrange some of the rooms in our home. We're going to move our current laundry room into a storage room area and create a new laundry room in there. We did find a plumber and electrician, and they are scheduled to come out sometime around the 17th. He's just going to see where his schedule is. So they'll be coming out. We went ahead and ordered a new stackable washer and dryer from Lowe's. They were on sale. It was a continuation of the Memorial Day sale, so we got those ordered. And as far as the wet bar room, that's going to be done after the old laundry room site, as everything is moved. We won't be able to get to that room probably for several more weeks. So as far as the den room, that's sort of a pass through for all of these things that I want to turn into a garden room, maybe a little sitting area, something like that. We wanted to add some interest, and I just couldn't figure out what exactly we wanted to do. That's why it's taken a long time to get this video up, because I thought we'd have the whole project done by now, but I am going to show you the progress. We decided to add a separation, sort of a wall. We thought about doing just some kind of separation, putting up a wall, putting up some kind of divider just to make two areas. And so we decided to build an arched wall sitting on columns. And I kind of came up with this idea because I didn't want to totally block all the light coming in from the window. And we had two corbels that are the same that we used on our mantle makeover. So I thought we could tie everything in, and it turned out amazing. Now, I'm very fortunate to have a husband who is very good at construction and can pretty much turn my ideas into a reality. And so I wanted to show you kind of the process. Now, I didn't film the whole thing. This is not a structural wall. This is not a DIY tutorial on how to build an arched wall, but I will insert some photos of how that process sort of went. And then I'm going to take the camera down and show you where I'm at in the process as of now. Another thing that I wanted to show you is we did add trim around the doorways like we did in some of the other rooms in the house. We have the very small builder basic trim. I don't know if you can see it back here. It's around all of the doorways and windows. It's very small. I even like sort of the RB3 trim much better. But for some of the doorways, we added just a little piece of trim around the corner, and it just made it a little bit wider and added some detail. And then we added some little French doors that I made out of bifold closet doors and painted those. So we're just trying to add a little bit of character to this very builder basic house. Even though this was a custom home, there's nothing in here that's sort of high-end or custom or anything like that. So that's all we're trying to do in this house without going overboard and without making it sort of putting too much money into it and making it too out of its element. I think sometimes if you have a house that's one style and you go a completely different direction on the inside, that can be a mistake. I've seen it done. Sometimes people do it really well. So we're just doing our best with this house, and we're trying to bring in some of our style and the things that we like. And the entrance to what is going to be the wet bar area that then goes out onto the screen porch, we added 3 pieces, actually it's 2 pieces of trim, and I will explain that to you. Also, I think it really dressed up that doorway. Instead of having a big white door that opens up and goes into the old laundry room, it's just going to be sort of a cased opening. We'll eventually take the door off and fill in the holes, and it will just look like an entrance to that sort of entertainment area, and then on out to the screen porch. So that's what we did. I will show you the pieces of trim that we got, and I will try to link everything below if I can in the description box for all of the trim that we used in this room. Some of it, I think we got at Home Depot. If I can list that as well, I will do so. So let's go look at what we've done in that den slash garden room so far. Now, I will tell you that I have changed my mind several times on this arched wall. I started off thinking I was going to make it look like solid wood. I was going to do like a faux wood effect on it because we just used like plywood and things like that. You know, everything was kind of mismatched and rough, and you know, lumber's not straight and perfect unless you get stain grade. So we didn't do any of that. And I was going to do it sort of like a faux wood. And I started off with that, and then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I decided, I think I want it to be textured. So I added some texture over that, and everything was looking very pinky and fleshy and orangey, and I did not like that. So I went over it and just neutralized everything with a light gray paint that would not turn too yellowy or fleshy, because the brick reflects into that room and makes all the paint look pink. It's something that I'm battling, so I'm going to have to figure out the lighting in that room. But so I went ahead and I neutralized everything on the wall, and then I decided that I wanted to start adding layers of more texture. And I was considering doing the whole arched wall so it looked like concrete, gray, old, worn, like garden columns that you would have seen in some sort of French garden, aged over the years. And then once I got the grays on there, and I'm going to show you, it looks terrible. You know, this is not what it would look like when it was finished, but I went ahead and stopped myself because the gray, it's just going to be too much. It's going to be too dark. It's going to be too much gray. I do like a faux concrete finish. I did a swan planter. I will show that to you. And I love that. And I would like some small pieces like that throughout the house. But this gigantic arched wall, it was just too much. So I am definitely going to change that. So today we're going to be running around getting some things that we need to finish working on the room. And I wanted to just sort of spend the day with you. I wanted to catch up on what we're doing in there. So let me show you everything that's in that room that we've done so far. And I'm going to have to go get some more paint and some more sanded grout and a couple other things. And I'm going to try to turn that arched wall into more of a travertine look, more of like a travertine or limestone, more of like creamy tans and things like that. I think it'll just go better with the house. And we did use travertine on our fireplace makeover. So I think that that will bring everything together and not be so big. It's kind of a big wall, and it's kind of dark right now. So let's go look at that room, and then I'm going to come right back in here and I'm going to show you the curtains that I got from Amazon. And I did go to a yard sale. They had like a 23-mile yard sale in our local area. It was just people lined up the road, and it was kind of hot, so I only went to a couple. I went to a thrift store and 2 yard sales. So anyway, I got a couple small things and I want to show those to you, and these Amazon curtains. So let's get to it. What I'm doing is trying to neutralize any warmth or this taupey brown color. In this room, this room is south facing and it's just looking very pinkish. I know you probably can't see that. So I'm going over it with a neutral color. Actually, it doesn't look the same. The color on this column is actually that one right there. but it's still wet. So what I'm doing is just trying to neutralize this whole column, and then I'm gonna go from there because I can't, the light reflects off of the brick outside of this room in that little courtyard area, and it makes everything look pink. It's very hard to pick colors for this house. I'm sure it is in your house as well. But anyway, that's what's happening. So I'm just neutralizing this for now, and then we'll have a clean base, hopefully that doesn't look pink. All right, the lighting is terrible. This is that original color. This is a color I mixed up to go over it. Both of them look fleshy to me, and then I tried to add a glaze, still not working. So I had this color on hand, a gallon of it. I mixed black in it and came up with this, and when I put it on this column, that's the color it's looking. Oh, paint drives me crazy. Now listen, you don't judge me on the way this looks right now. I know it looks terrible, but it's a process. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I just keep going until I end up liking it, and then I'll stop. But I kept changing my mind. I do want something very textural, and the color is not working. It's kind of too dark. Let me go over here. I do think I have a good base to work with now that I have all this texture on here. I think it's going to look really beautiful. And as you can see, let me turn this around. Now I'm standing in the laundry room, and here's what we've done so far. We have added this trim. It's just a small piece, and it caps around the existing trim. And then when I paint it, it will all look like one piece. Now, my husband had to add another piece back here, and of course I had to fill it and sand it, but this will all look like one thicker piece of trim without having to rip that off. And I'll show you what that looks like on the other side of this doorway. This is what that ends up looking like once it's all painted and stained and everything. And I did a really dark gel stain, a couple shades on here. So that's what that looks like. And then we also put it on this other wall with the brick. And then this is what it looks like here with this brick wall in our kitchen. It just adds a little bit to your existing trim without having to rip everything off, make a big mess, and trim's really expensive now, so sometimes you can just add a little bit to it and paint it. And we did the same thing in white, and here it is, just same thing, all painted white. So here's this side of that doorway. We're in the kitchen, and then you come into this room, like I showed you in the last video. There is a laundry room right there. That goes up to the bonus room. Garage door. Around that hallway is a storage room, which is where we're moving the laundry room, and then back straight through there is the master. So this will all be a wet bar, and we also added this trim. So let me explain what this trim is and how I came up with it. So we decided that we wanted a thicker, wider trim here without going too crazy and making it too ornate. And we also wanted it to match the other trims that we've added. So this design we wanted to incorporate, and they had this piece right here in the middle. This is actually Crown Moulding, and so it's angled on this side in the back and this side. And so he had to create a way to fit it all together. Now it does lay flat here, and then this piece tucked right up underneath of it. You can't see, there's an extra little bevel and it has like an extra little ridge there. It slid right up underneath of there to hold it. And then this was the existing trim that was on the door. He pulled it all off and ripped it down and put a little 45 on it so it would tuck up under this side of the Crown Moulding. That way it lays flat, if that makes sense. So it just added a nice detail to this door and really makes it stand out. And it's going to be beautiful when it's all painted. Now please do not judge me by looking at this column in its current condition, because you know how I am. If you've watched any of my videos, I layer and layer and layer paint so that I end up getting the finish that I want, but I've changed my mind on this one. Oh, I don't know. I think 5 times so far, but I have a really good base coat on it. It has lots of texture and lots of depth. I will say this top piece does not have glaze on it yet, and this does. You can see how much it warms it up. So this is going to look really nice once I come in and add all the layers back over it. You'll see just a tiny bit of this peeking through some of the pits and so forth that you would see underneath stone. And those are the corbels that we used on the fireplace mantle as well. And that's the same trim. And I know it looks terrible right now, but this is all going to look really nice, and I think it's gonna create a nice statement piece. Let me back up here. So this is what it's looking like so far. Some detail, he added some trim around the bottom and some base cap. Like I said, I was going to do this so it looked all wood, like a faux wood kind of look, but I just decided we kind of needed something different, like a stone or limestone or something like that. There's so many inspiration photos online, so that's what I am working with, and I hope you like it. I'll try to put a photo where it is back a little bit so you can see the whole thing. All right, so before we run out to Lowe's and get some more things to work on the garden room, let me show you my little tiny haul. So I got a pair of these lamps. They were $10 a piece, and they are more of a traditional style. I know a lot of people are very much into modern style, but I'm not. The top looks like a candle right here, which I thought was kind of neat. You really don't see it that much, but I just thought they were pretty. So I got a pair of those. And I also got a couple of shells. Let me show those to you. Now, I already have a few, and I'm trying to collect them as I go. They can get very expensive in antique stores, if you can even find the large ones anymore, but I found 2 at a thrift store, so let me show you those. All right, so got these 2. This one, let's see. Let me do one at a time so I don't drop these. This one is super pretty. I need to clean them. They were kind of gross inside. And there, look. This one was $4.50. There is some damage to these, but I really don't care. That makes them look more interesting to me. So I loved that one. And this one's a little bit smaller. It was only $3.50. And they're just really pretty. So I've been collecting these larger ones, and I do have some small ones to do sort of a beachy kind of theme, like over the summer. Now, I haven't been decorating a lot for summer because we've had so much going on, but I'm in the guest room right now, so I may add all of the shells into this room, or I may just do it kind of on the porch area or something like that, because I don't have enough to like do my whole house. So I've just sort of been collecting pieces that I like, and eventually I'll have enough to maybe sprinkle around through the house. So I got 2 of these. I also picked up this little metal stand. I don't know if it's like a compo, I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway, it was $6. And I like it just the way it is. I like to get these and sit my plant pots on top if they need something to drain in. It just kind of elevates them so you can have different levels. So I picked that up. The next thing I got was this really pretty textured pillow sham. I think it's a standard size, but it was $2. I love layering a lot of textures, and if you get a lot of different textures and similar colors, maybe just a little bit of variants like creams and whites, or maybe you do different shades of greens and things like that. They always look good together. So I picked this up, and it's brand new as far as I can tell. The next 2 things I picked up, and I always look in this thrift store for placemats because they always have some. I got these 2 oval placemats. I love to pick these up. It's normally just my husband and myself. We have a glass top table, and so I always have to have placemats underneath. It is scratched up, but I try to limit how much it's getting scratched up. It would be nice if we would get new glass, but then we would just scratch that up. So I try to get placemats when I can, and these were pretty. They're a nice bright green color. I don't know if you can tell, they're kind of like a yellowy green color. And they were $2. So like I said, I always pick these up when I can, and I just rotate them out, throw them in the washing machine, and put them back on. So I got those. The next thing I got were these Asian prints. Now I actually picked these up, I think a few weeks ago. There's a set of 4 of these. They're all very similar. And they came out of a wedding venue. I guess, I don't know which room she had them in, but I just thought they were really pretty. I love these colors. Oops, sorry, there's the ring light. So they're about this big, and there's a set of 4. So I think that set of prints may have been around $50 if I can find the listing from, it was a marketplace find. I will share it here, but I think they were around like 12 bucks a piece. So there were somewhere around $50 for the set of 4. Okay, now these next things I'm going to show you, I'm not even going to get into my Amazon saga with these curtains. I love these curtains. I get them from Half Price Drapes. I've had them listed in my Amazon store. The color that I absolutely love and that I bought, I have 8 panels of the peat green. I love them. They're this yellowy vintage green. They are my favorite. I would put them in every room, and I may end up doing that. But I thought, you know, I will try a different color, and because I love the quality, they're beautiful. They add richness. So I had ordered, I think it was retro gold and museum taupe, and they were both beautiful colors. But when I got them here in the house with our floors and lighting, and they just didn't work. So I returned them, and one set I returned went fine, and the other set, I had a big debacle about it. And long story short, I had to just get a replacement in a different color, and which was fine. So I did pick a color, and it was deep sea teal. And on my phone screen and to everyone else I showed it to, it looks one way, and then these showed up as that color. I'm going to put what I see on my phone when I'm ordering on Amazon. I'm going to put the color. Now, I think I have a pretty decent, you know, perspective on color and color variations. I mean, I can't do a lot of things, but I can see color. So this is not the same color. This is, I mean, this is a beautiful color, and it goes with the prints that I just showed you. And I have another piece of artwork that has this color in it, but this is not the color that is on that screen. And I've taken this around a different lighting. I'm like, maybe it's just my lighting. I'll take it, you know, put it in the sunlight, and they're just not that color. I mean, anyway, they're beautiful, but not the color I wanted. And so I thought, all right, I got to return these too. So I hit what I thought was return. I made sure that I did not want a replacement. I clicked on it, put it back on my card, and they sent me 4 more of the exact same thing as a replacement. So then I had 8 curtain panels. Long story short, I decided not to deal with it anymore. I'm just going to keep these 4, and I will use them somewhere. And I did return the other 4 that I was supposed to return for the replacement. So anyway, that's something, I don't know how that happened, but I haven't had the best luck with the Amazon return customer service sometimes. So I'm just going to keep those panels, and I will use them somewhere. And then the next time I order any, I think I'm going to go to Half Price Drapes official site. My friend recommended this to me because she orders her curtains there as well. And just get the color swatches. That way I don't have all these curtains coming and then have to return them and so forth. So I think I have picked out a couple other colors I'm going to try, and I'll share those with you when I get them. But if you happen to want deep sea teal, which this doesn't look like at all to me, you let me know what you think. I mean, I might call this deep sea teal, but it's not the color that I'm seeing on the Amazon photo. Anyway, I know that there can be differences in your screen and so forth, but I think that the color's slightly off. So anyway, I do love these curtains. I will use them, but I really wanted that other color, and I guess it doesn't exist. So anyway, And on that note, as far as color goes, I picked up this beautiful Bear chalk paint. It's a spray. I have a similar planter pot that I got at Ross. It's really beautiful, and I was trying to get something really close so that if I find some more pots that I like the shape, I can just spray paint it, maybe add a little bit of glossy sheen to it so it looks ceramic. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try that. And this color is called Surf. This is matte, of course, it's chalk paint. And I just thought it was really pretty. I would want to darken it a little bit with some glaze, and then I think it will match the pot that I have. I will insert a photo of that pot with my plant in it, and I just think it's really pretty. And also my sister-in-law loves this color, so if I can, I'm going to try to make a couple pots for her in this color. So now we have to head out and try to figure out our white paint saga. I don't know if you guys have been dealing with picking out white paint. It's very hard to find just a slight off-white that isn't too blue, too pink, or has a yellow undertone. I mean, the lighting in your house makes all the difference. So we've been playing that game with trying to come up with a creamy off-white paint just for the walls in that room, which is, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have to go try to pick out the perfect white neutral paint. If you guys have any suggestions, please list them in the comments below, because by the time I post this, I may not have picked out the wall color paint. So I would appreciate any help. I'm looking for a neutral, not too gray, not too pink or yellow, just a super neutral white paint with a little tiny bit, like a little off-white, but not yellow off-white, not like antique white where it pulls yellow. Anyway, any suggestions, I would love to know. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really hope you liked our arch wall that we built, and I'm so thankful to my husband. He does such an amazing job at building anything that I can think of and doing the door trim around the little entrance to the wet bar area. He kind of fought me on that one, but I think we know who's gonna win. But no, seriously, he ended up making it work, even though it was Crown Moulding, and he's amazing at everything. So you guys can give him some kudos in the comments. That would be awesome, because he really does do a great job, and it is going to make all the difference in that whole area by adding that wall. And so now it's my job to make it look good. And right now it looks terrible. It looks like a bunch of gray splotchy paint, and you know it's not going to look like that when it's done. So I hope you will check in with me in a little bit, and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully I will have it done by the next video. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.